We're going to make a little chair change in the studio here with our guests. I want to remind you, you're watching Health This Week. I'm Don Baillargeon. If you've just joined us, like to watch this show again, go to our website, healththisweek.com. And, of course, joining me now is Dr. Sheila Foreman, clinical psychologist and good friend of the program. Sheila, always good to see you.
Thanks, Don. Happy to be here.
Well, we're talking about swine flu this week. I mean, if you're not talking about swine flu, you can't be called Health This Week, right? You and I had some fun before going on the air. We were emailing back and forth talking about this segment, and we coined the phrase epidemic freakout.
That's right. It was your term, and I loved it. It was perfect.
I mean, this is really what we saw here.
Absolutely.
I mean, from the very beginning of the thing all the way up to the highest levels of public office, we'll just say Joe Biden. I mean, epidemic freakout really describes what we're talking about.
And it's not necessary. You know me, I'm not an advocate of panic under any circumstance. Panic is a very heightened sense of fear. When we're in a state of panic, we are not thinking reasonably, we're not rationally, we cannot make good decisions. So I always tell people there's never a reason to panic. Does that mean we should close our eyes to the situation? No, of course not. But what I recommend is instead of being scared, be smart and start taking smart actions to protect yourselves and the ones that you love. But there's no need to panic. It's not necessary.
Now, is it just a natural thing for people to see what's going on in the news, and they're talking about pandemic, they're comparing it to the flu thing of 1918? I mean, it got so completely out of hand in such a short period of time. How difficult is it to cope with that if you're seeing all this?
Well, when you're seeing it and you're being fed that kind of material, it does gender a panic. That's what ends up happening. People get scared. But if you take a step back and you really look at the facts, you look at the facts as they truly are, and the facts as they affect you specifically, it's easier to calm down.
I think it's important to note too, that the news media is dependent upon stories to grab audiences and hold them for as long as possible. So I guess the more sensational the story, the better they have a chance of doing that.
Well, there's some truth to that, and I'm in the media, as we both are, and I think the media offers a lot of really good service, but sometimes we can get exaggerated. We can go after the story when there really isn't one. And even if the swine flu had turned into be this really big dilemma that we were scared it was going to be at the beginning, there still isn't any reason to panic. You still have to really look at the facts, pay attention to how they affect you in your life, and then talk to your physician, take appropriate action.
Well, any kind of airborne virus, whether it's a cold virus or a regular flu virus, I mean, it's the same precautions that you take. You wash your hands frequently. You don't sneeze in the open air in front of other people. You don't go to work if you're not feeling good. I mean, all of these things that Dr. Bill just told us about a moment ago. The same with swine flu as with the common cold, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, if you've been affected by it, if you've been in Mexico, for example, or you've been in a location where somebody has it, contact your physician, let him or her know, and then follow their advice. If you have any symptoms of the flu, call your doctor. We know that within 48 hours or so of symptoms, it's very easy to treat this. But then just take good care of yourself, eating well, getting good exercise, managing your stress. These are all things that even if you do catch a bug, whether it's a swine flu or something else, will really make your outcome so much better.
And of course, we're not just talking about things like a flu virus or any kind of medical scare. This is really good advice in your everyday lives. I mean, anything that approaches you that causes a great deal of stress or anxiety, you need to just take a minute and relax. I mean, I'm doing your job now.
You do my job. You do it beautifully. Exactly. Take a step back, gain some perspective. What's really going on here? What's the truth of it? And calm down. It's so important to act from a place what I call proactive, not reactive. Really take a moment. You have a moment, even in a swine flu epidemic, to really assess the facts and then take action that's in your best interest in the long run.
Without infringing upon your patient-doctor confidentiality, did you, during this heightened crisis, find yourself having to deal with it? Did you get phone calls and emails saying, Dr. Sheila, what am I going to do?
Well, I didn't get emails or phone calls. I had patients coming into my office in a state of frenzy and tizzy, and one of my most anxious patients was really terrified.
Wow.
And we spent the entire session just calming him down and having him understand that in Santa Monica, in the location where he lives, where I practice, he is safe from the swine flu. But he was really elevated. His anxiety was through the roof. He was ready to cancel the appointment. He was afraid to leave his house. It got pretty bad for this particular person.
You basically let him know that there was no rogue pigs knocking at his door.
Right. And I assured him that he was safe, and that's what made him feel better. And the test will be if he shows up for his next appointment. Hopefully he will.
Now, let's talk about our children for a moment, because they're being fed this stuff at school. they're in the living room when we're watching the news. There's discussions going on the school ground, and of course that can just manifest itself in an entirely different direction. When our kids come to us and say, Mom, Dad, what's this deal about swine flu? I don't want to go to school today because I don't want to catch swine flu. How can we help them through that?
Yeah, you and I have talked about children so many times on this show and other shows. Children take their cues from us. So if we're running around panicking, if we're running around putting masks on our faces and terrified of going outdoors, that's what they're going to learn. But if the kids come home and they say, Mom, I heard this in school, I'm scared, sit them down, have a conversation that's age appropriate. Obviously, the older the child is, you can share more information. The younger child, you really just need to calm them down and share with them that they're safe, that they're healthy, that if they don't feel well, we'll take them to the doctor, and just keep everything low key. You don't want to feed into that panic frenzy that they might be picking up at school.
So maybe we can play the game where this little piggy went to the market, but he didn't have a mask and he didn't have swine flu.
Exactly.
Dr. Sheila Foreman, great friend of us here at Health This Week. If you'd like to know more about Dr. Sheila, please visit her website, drsheilafforeman.com. Sheila, it's always a pleasure.
Thanks, Don.